Hey fam, it's been a while. Let me turn this up just to make sure you can hear me and the message that I have to bring to you today. Um, Happy New Year, past happy holidays, all that good stuff to you all. I pray that your family is doing well. I pray that anyone is who is in the position that I find myself, that you are taking care of yourself, that you are realizing that you need to take care of yourself and that you get good rest. Um, just sort of kind of go back. I'm not sure I didn't go back. I should have, but I didn't. Um, to sort of update you, but if it's a duplicate, hey, that's how we learn. We learn by listening again and again because 9 times out of 10, we don't get it right or get it all the first time. So on November 25th, mom had her second stroke and it took her vision. And if you can notice what you're noticing about your vision, it rules all. So you can read people's expressions, you can read danger, it's the insight to the soul. You can look in people's eyes and tell what they got going on, if they got anything going on, is anything in there. So the eyes, to me, are important. I've been wearing glasses since fourth grade, always thinking my eyes were going to get better. And for some people, they do. They take that leap and have different kinds of surgery, but everybody's plan is different. So, mom lost her eyesight, and that changed everything. And although she can still walk, this particular part of where it interrupted the flow in her brain. It's the occipital, but I feel that it has gone deeper. I haven't done any deep research, and they don't tell you a lot. I was not pleased with this particular place. I thought that it was the better place to go to, but just as we are not 100% in all areas of what we do in all the different sectors of our lives, I experienced that this particular place lacked the follow up. It lacked um, the support, the information that I would have, that I experienced almost a year ago when mom had her first stroke. We were super busy, but she saw promise, and I can see the benefit having been in that fitness field and rehabilitative field, the benefits. Here, she didn't really get a lot of support. And she's at a different stage too. Let's remember that. So, one of the things, close out some of these things I got on open. One of the things that I noticed was although she is um, in her state that she's in, she never lost her that spontaneity, her humor, even without her hearing aids. She'd be like, I heard that. And I want to share a just in me saying that, I want to share something, a statement from Cesar Pavese, Cesarepavese. We do not remember days, we remember months. And there was another one that I wanted to share with you, and I'll tell you where I'm getting this from, and I can write them down. Henry J.M. Newen, I think he wrote Conversations with God. Um, Among the best things we can give each other are good memories. Among the best things we can give each other are good memories. And that's what I'm striving to do and to remember um, with mom. So, this particular one had me strapped. I grew so much in the sense of when she had the stroke, at the time she had the stroke, was right before we had plans to go to Baltimore. I was angry, y'all. I was so angry. I didn't realize I was angry. I was, that edge you have, and I realized, why am I being so abrupt with the staff? Because I felt like, let's come in here, let's get this diagnosis, let's get her out, get some medication. We're going to get on our train tomorrow morning. That was Tuesday, the 26th of November, to go to Maryland. I was excited because that was a respite for me because we're going to take the train. I don't have to drive. I. And then I realized this isn't going to work. So I spoke with the people and with Amtrak, and they told me what I needed to do. I told them my situation. They said all you have to do is, you know, get some information, send it to them, and we got all of our money back. So that was a blessing. I count that as such. Always, always, always acknowledging. Okay, something's on my screen, and I don't know, it's not coming off, but acknowledging my gratitude. The gratitude that that stroke did not take her out of here. The gratitude that she still has something to do. I still have something to learn from her as a result of caring for her. So I am tuning in. I'm sitting on her bed. On Christmas Day, I changed the bedroom around because it was a month after she had had her stroke. And we were having a lot of difficulties doing some things, and she needed to have the openness of the room, and so I changed her room around. That was my gift to her and to me, because not that the room was cluttered, it was just we used up more of the floor space, so I'm using more of the wall space. Because different devices become a part of your life, even though the restroom is like literally right there. It's not even my height from the bed. There was a lot of confusion in getting from the bed to the restroom. Now, we devised a plan where she wears a whistle, and if she needs me, when she needs me, she blows the whistle. That whistle gets blown at midnight. It gets blown at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Not every time, but you get the picture. So my bedroom is right across the hall, and we have the door open. So my spouse and I sleep or try to get sleep, but when that whistle toots, I'm up to come and help her. That's what I signed up for. But in the process of my back, being tweaked from lifting out a wheelchair, a full wheelchair, which I never paid attention to the fact that there's different wheelchairs. I noticed they're different colors and stuff, and wide ones and small ones, but I never noticed the wheels on a wheelchair. So a wheelchair, a medical wheelchair, is with the big wheel on the back where you can self-propel with the little handle. Some of them have the handle, some of them don't, with the small wheel on the front. You see those with paraplegics who are using them in their own capacity. But then you also see a transport chair, which you have to purchase yourself because it's not medically necessary. It's just maybe, for whatever reason that someone is using. It has made a difference in my life. And I um, am thankful to a friend who shared with me, a person who this is his ministry. So they sent mom home from the hospital with a a walker. I'm like, why does she need a walker if she's blind? I'm trying to figure that one out. Again, this is that place we went to that I wasn't feeling like everything was connecting. But I consented. We took it. Let me get out of here before I get do a John Q on you. And so I took the walker to this um, I'm gonna call him an angel's house. And I'm thinking, oh, I got my little walker, it's brand new. The tags, it still got the little shrink wrap on the legs and stuff. And I gave it to him. He goes, oh, you can put it over there. And it was like 45 walkers over there. And I'm thinking, okay. But then he said, look around and see what you need. I said, I can take anything. He said, yeah. He said, "You sign this paper, no kind of contract." He keeps up, and when you don't need it anymore, you bring it back. That's his ministry. It's a beautiful ministry. And I share that to say, when you put out there into the universe what it is that you need, what it is that you want, you have to be specific. I realized that I could not be and do everything. I would love to have been that, but let's be real. So some people came in and helped her. I had to make the decision that no, I'm not seeing the progress. I'm seeing a lot of decline physically. Mom wasn't eating anymore. Well, she still ate, but she didn't eat the way that she used to eat. And part of that was, of course, the uh, one of the drugs that they had her on when she came home, a steroid. It had her eating like I was like, "Can I just get my hand back?" It was like one of those things. She's just nibbling, nibbling, nibbling. "What we gonna eat? What we gonna eat?" And then it got to once we weaned her off of that, she just sort of kind of mixed it around on her plate. And a couple of days ago, she asked me to feed her. And it really wasn't I had to ask her. I watched her, um, and she would eat it. I give her a couple of them just to give her a taste of what's on the plate. And then I would tell her the clock face, okay, you got this here, at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So she would know where things were on the plate and where her drink was. But I noticed she wasn't doing a lot of eating. And so even though I would give her the fork, place it in her hand on the plate, I noticed that she wasn't really eating. And so a lot of times I'm rushing around, and because it's a upstairs, downstairs, her bedroom is upstairs. I can't be in 2 places at once. If I'm serving her or doing her medication or giving her insulin shots or eye drops or whatever, I can't be I can do it up here, but then I have to go downstairs to cook, to check things, to wash the dishes, to do the laundry and things like that. So sometimes I would, make my meal too. I'm not really a breakfast eater, but I would make something just so I could sit with her. So she wasn't just isolated. You go from being at the dining room table and eating with me to you're in your bed. And I just sort of kind of put myself in that position and what that would be like if you're just stuck sitting in your room. You have to call somebody to come and get you up to go to the bathroom, be it a loved one or not. She can handle herself in the bathroom, but I get to the point where I don't assume anymore. Ma, I got that. I can help you with that. So I asked her, would you like for me to feed you? And she said, that would be nice. I moved to a different level of caring. I moved to a different level a couple of weeks ago when I gave her first bath, or I should say, wash down, full body wash down. Those are just different stages of caregiving, but you do it because that's providing dignity. For me, that's showing love. You washed my ass when I was a kid. You cleaned up my vomit. We ain't had that one yet. Knock on wood. But finding the humor through our journey has been wonderful. We do a lot of laughing. Um, but it got to the point, y'all, where I'm watching her. I'm tired. I'm getting up in the middle of the day, and I never really take naps. And a friend recommended to me that last week of 2024 hospice. And my misconception of what hospice meant was no, I don't feel that we're there yet. I know we're on that path, we're going down that street, but we're not there yet. But something, a voice inside of me said, make the call, Tam. Stop being stubborn. You need help. Make the call. I made the call, and that was on New Year's Eve. They answered the phone and they were so cheery and welcoming. Their energy was just like off the charts. And they arranged for someone to come to get me or to come to the house. They wanted to come on Thursday, on the 2nd. But I had planned a lot of things because my uh, car, I told you all, got wrecked in the parking garage of when I went to visit mom in the hospital. So it was just like you can see why I was just like, "Wee." And it was, but the way in which I handled it, I know I'm off on a different tangent. I'm coming back. The way in which I handled it, I was so happy with myself because I didn't take my anger out on the man who hit me. It was like, you know what? That's a piece of property. And while I need it, I have another piece of property up here in a room and I'm going to see. And that trumps this car right now. As long as my car can still roll and I can get to where I need to go, I'm good. So I had to pick up my car on the 2nd. And the place that I took it to was not the first choice. It was a wonderful one. I found a new mechanic and body shop and everything all in one. So Uh, my car is doing well. Got a couple of things I need to get done on it, but hey, That too will come and pass. So back to the visit when they came on Friday, January 3rd. Um, Nurse came in, the intake nurse, and she asked me a lot of questions and everything. And I just said, "Hey, I have a question. I know it probably is like very not formed correctly." I said, "But what do you all do?" I said, "Because I've heard that," and I told her the lies that I had heard from someone who I'm a little concerned about because they are in a leadership position. But again, we all if you don't know, you don't know. But don't spout what you don't know. Find out the facts. So I said, I've heard that. And I shared the mistruth. And she started laughing. And she said, that's a misconception that everybody has. And so I'm here to tell you and read to you from the information of what they offer. So she came in and we did all the information. She came up and met mom and she did some basic border like benchmark measures so that they can now see the changes. I know the changes, but they can see. So, what is hospice care? Historically, the word hospice refers to hospitality or a place of rest and protection for those that were ill. Those sentiments apply today, yet there is so much more to hospice care. When a patient is seeking comfort, tailored care at home, and quality of life, choosing hospice can make a world of difference. Embracing hospice care allows patients and their families to live with peace of mind knowing that they have a team by their side every step of the way. So let me tell you, when this lady was doing the intake and telling me what they were going to offer me or offer mom, us, because it's a bond, it's the caregiver and the person being cared for. She said one of the things that you can do is we take over everything. In this particular case, it's paid through Medicare, not the Medicaid, it's through Medicare. So they came in, they did an assessment, they said she's in a bed. I asked for another bed because mom has a full size bed with a spongy mattress, very comfortable bed, but it's not for her anymore. She gets lost in it. She gets turned around. She can't figure out the head from the foot of the bed. And so I come in and find her and was finding her in various positions. And because it's too big, I can't, just physics, can't reach all the way across the bed to support her or to lift her. And then I was having tweaks in my back, and I was just like, which is one reason I go to the gym, one reason I go swim and do my lifting because of the responsibilities and the physical piece of the responsibility. So she said, "We're going to offer you respite care." I said, "What does that mean?" I mean, I know what it meant, but what did it mean in their context with my mother? And she said, "We'll take her for 5 days." I said, "Do I get to like pick the days?" Here it is. Tammy, shut up. Ego, shut up. Them speaks and voices on your shoulder. Shut up and listen. We will take her for 5 days. And we happen to be literally across. It's a 10-minute walk for me. So we just got snow. As you can see, it's super bright outside, but we just got snow. And so I walked across. It's only a 10-minute walk. I put on all my Ohio-based stuff, my big boots, my winter camping rubber pants for camping in the rain, and my big old uh, jacket. And I walked 10 minutes to the facility. So they do offer to come pick her up, but on the day that he called and was having, it was on one of those days where it was just like, it's a challenge to get her from the car to the house. There's a lot of anxiety and fear that comes up now. And don't be out in the dark. That sundowning is real for them, y'all. It's real. It's like the boogeyman is coming. And to see her experience that level of fear, it did something to me. I mean, this is not something that we can talk away. And I knew that I needed rest because I was starting to be on edge too, not getting enough sleep consistently. Um, you're making the meals, you're preparing the meals. I couldn't really leave the house. I was basically housebound. They told us to cancel her doctor's appointments because she didn't need them anymore. I'm like, what does that mean? She said, you can hold on to them if you want to, but really, we're going to take over. And so I said, okay, this is what I asked for. This is what I asked for. And so I'm going to abide by what it is that you're asking me to do because I need the rest. Because we know that, and if you didn't, I'm educating you, rest is so necessary because the stress that we put on our body, your body is generating and producing a different type of chemical, different type of chemicals that are not health, uh, they're not healthy. Let's just say that. Laughter, smiling, you know, um, those kinds of things, your body produces a different chemical, the dopamine, the serotonin, all that stuff is good for your body. So you can either bathe yourself in all the angst and the fear and the stress. That's why we get cold. I haven't had a cold since I left teaching. Not so much as the fact of being around the snotty nosed kids and people send their kids to school sick. That has a play in it. But my immune system is stronger because I laugh a lot. I'm crying right now, but I'm releasing, I'm emoting, I am laughing um, multiple times a day. We find humor in everything, in the stuff that I do and the stuff that I say, and helping my mom, all of that. We find humor in it. And so I went over, she went in on I'm sorry, Thursday. She went in on Thursday because when I called on Wednesday, they said she was fourth in line. And I'm thinking, well, that's probably not going to happen. And then I caught myself and I said, thoughts have power, words have power. Use that tool. And I said, I know that she will get in and they have a room for her, a bed for her, because we need it. She was getting to the point where she was starting to feel like she was a burden because her mind was not fully controlling her body anymore. So her legs, even though we walked, it was more of a pull. It's very taxing on me, it's very taxing on her. She was very confused. She was spinning around. It was like I always had to have hands on her unless she was motionless and I was really propping her up against something. Hence, that person who offered me the chair, the transport chair has been key to getting her around, but getting her from upstairs, getting her dressed, getting her down the stairs. Anybody want to gift us a house? I'm taking it. Carpeted stairs, nonetheless. Over the door, you step over the door jamb, to walk into the house is not flat. It takes us a good 5 to 7 minutes to get from her room down the stairs, coat on, out to the car. So everything is in slow motion. I think of that movie, was it Zootopia with the sloth at the DMV? It's like slow down. Yeah, it's slow. But that has some power in that too. So she is literally a 10-minute walk down the street from me. So I went over Thursday and then they called me and asked for some information. And so I said, let me find it or whatever and I'll bring it over there. And I slept good last night, y'all. So that was the second night. So she said Thursday night, Friday night. And so today is Saturday and she will be there until Tuesday. So I have 5 days. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? I have plenty to do. Um, yeah. So the first day was just sort of kind of sleeping. First 2 days was just sleeping. And then you know how you're trying to figure something out? And I just said, okay, once they took her, then I had some extra things come in. I'm like, I can actually sit and do this, sit in on a presentation. I can actually like read. I can think through thoughts. I can make some plans. And because they always were interrupted, I could do it before. And it's not like I couldn't do it. I could do whatever I wanted, but the mental capacity was very diminished. And so it took me longer to do it because I was interrupted. Or it was, oh, I gotta get her lunch. I gotta get her this. I gotta check on this. I gotta make this phone call. So I was always that squirrel mentality, and so now I can just sort of which by the way, breath is so important. When I felt myself getting all in a tizzy, that's like a massage for your nervous system. Deep breaths. Just taking 5 good, letting that exhale be longer than your inhale. And as I'm doing that, I'm scanning my whole body to just release, release, release. Nothing tight and tense. You might try that. So the alternate is palliative care. In medical terms, palliative care is a form of treatment that works by easing pain and symptoms. In addition to easing pain and symptoms often associated with an advanced illness, a highly trained palliative care specialist can also provide a wealth of knowledge about treatment choices, likely outcomes, and peace of mind as medical decisions are considered. So while I was over there, I was talking to one of the nurses and you have to have your information, your advance directives and everything because they need to know if they should depart this plane while they are in their care. They need to know, are we going to resuscitate them? That's that most form, that pink form. I know it's for North Carolina. I don't know what you have for your state. I am not an expert. I'm just sharing my journey. And so the medical orders, that's the MOST of standard treatment or whatever. Um, it was from 20 April of 2022. Well, April 22, we were in a whole different like ball game. We were in a whole different city in a whole different stadium. But now we find ourselves where we are and we need to rethink some things because her body, I see it much more frail, not as strong. We haven't been to the gym. We're not probably going to go back to the gym up until now. What I'm looking at, which the gym water has been extremely warm and it's been very nice. Rolling out of bed these cold mornings and going to get into the pool. But we I asked mom before she went, I was filling out some paperwork. And I said, Mom, this old paperwork says that you want to be resuscitated. Is that still your desire? And you know, those grandmas tell you that words of wisdom. She said, I took my first breath when I came into this world. I'll take my last breath when it's time for me to go home. I said, okay. So we need to change that. But again, not having the resources, not knowing what that means, I went over and because that communication was not transferred over because I was once they told me that, oh, we have a space for her, I was like, they told me on Thursday morning, uh, I was like, oh, okay, thank you. That's a beautiful gift for me and for us. But then I was like, oh, I gotta go home. I gotta pack. I gotta get all the medication. I gotta. Squirrel came back, and I was like, pause, pause. You're like 5 minutes, not even a 5 minute drive. I told him I could take her. I could bring her. I said I will bring her over there. I just need to go home and get some things together and bring her comfort things, things that she likes. Right, familiarity. And so I took her spread to the bed. I took her one of her a pillow that she has grown to like, um, and a little stuffed animal that she has, a little lammy pie looking thing, but she likes it sitting on her shoulder or right near her head. Hmm, that's a whole nother topic of conversation. A lamb. Hmm. So, um, and thinking about her body, resuscitation is not just doing the CPR, right? Well, yeah, it is because you're doing it, but in a medical situation, you got a frail body to do some chest compressions, you're gonna break bones. So I concur. It's not my decision. I just asked her for guidance. What would you love? And she said that I take my last breath, I take my last breath. And I said, okay, that's what it's gonna be. So, um, palliative care and hospice care. Hospice care, one of the multiple things is you get rest. And I know it seems like wonderful, you hit the jackpot, but they're like, you get 5 days every 30 days. And I'll tell y'all, when I heard that, I felt valued. I felt seen as a caregiver. Like, you see that I'm struggling over here. I'm doing what I got to do because I signed on for this. But when they said you get 5 days, she can come and stay with us 5 days. And I was trying to break it up, but I was like, no, that's 5 days. Start to finish, you get 5 days. I can go just sleep, catch up on sleep because you need it. Go have a massage. Just read, pray, cry, exercise, whatever it is I choose to do as that caregiver. So I told her, I went over, of course, I had to take the stuff over when I dropped her off on Thursday. I went over yesterday on Friday. It was nice to walk through the snow, but I told her I wasn't going to come Saturday and probably Sunday. I might pop over there. But just to have that time, and also what just came down is to get used to that separation so that it's not such a stark whenever she chooses her transition to just be okay with that. So, I did sign up. They offer grief counseling. I signed up for grief counseling, so I had to fill out, some information. But I wanted to share something. Where is it? One of the biggest things that I noticed, depending on what's going on with mom's brain, is confusion. So I'm sharing some resources that I got. People nearing the end of life may seem confused at times. They may not know what time it is or where they are. Saw that. She couldn't figure out upstairs, downstairs, and the layout of her room. They may not recognize family or friends. We're not there yet. They may say that they see things that no one else can see. Seeing a lot of that. She's seen a lot of children, and she used to do preschool. So I don't know what that means, but when she's sort of dozing off, she'll start talking to the children, and "You see the kids over there? No, I don't see them." So now I say yes. And what do they have on? So I'm more curious of it because again, they're not in our world anymore. We have to move and be and pretend that we are in their world because they are no longer they're they're like being uprooted from this world, especially with the dementia. They may talk to people who are not there or who have already died. See a lot of that going on. People near the end of life will sometimes talk about travel. They may say things such as, "I want to get my keys. I need to find my suitcase. Where's the bus? Where's the train?" This is known as symbolic language. It may be one of the ways people let us know that they are ready for death. They could be trying to tell us goodbye. Some people may think the medicine could be causing the confusion, but this is a normal part of the dying process. So, what can you do? Let the care team know if the person is confused. They will show you how to best support the person at this time. The care team will check to make sure that the right medicine is being given at the right dosage. Gently try to reorient the person, remind them of who you are, tell them what you are doing, point out familiar things in the room. I've done that. Sometimes she can see some things, but it's not it's not like we see, like with um, knowing with confidence. Um, Provide comfort. Tell the person that you are there to take care of them. Let them know that they are safe. That's one thing that I have noticed I have been doing a lot with mom when I said, "Mom, as long as I'm here and got breath in my lungs, you are going to be safe." When we are traversing from one part of the house down those stairs to the out the front door, and she's doing this, bucking thing, I said, "Ma, I got you. I got you. You are safe. You're safe." You know, I get a lot of crying from her. She cries a lot. Um, yeah. So here's the part where I'm just learning. And a lot of stuff I just y'all, um, I didn't have all the resources. It was just I asked Spirit, help me help her. What do I need to do? How do I need to be to help her? But then I read something and I've done the right thing. And so that is confirmation that Spirit is talking to me and guiding me. Let the person tell you what they are seeing, feeling, or hearing. Do not argue with them. These things are real to the person, even though they may not seem real to you. It's their world, remember? Listen carefully. There may be meaningful messages being shared in symbolic language. Consider writing down important things that happen. A journal may be a source of comfort to share with um, other loved ones later. And that was the main one that I wanted to share with you. Her eating, I'd shared with you. Um, and mom always says this because she was the caregiver, one of three caregivers for her father. Um, and there that role switching is I can't really explain it. It's a beautiful thing. It's a scary thing for me at first. It's um a questionable, like, am I ready? Can I do this? Yes, you can. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right. And so I have really used a lot of my coaching tools to really help me through this process. Um, I'm not saying that you can't make it through, but it has made it all the more blissful to traverse this path with my mother. And yes, I'm gonna cry, but you know what? I just it's been beautiful to see her with her grace. And she knows that things aren't what they used to be, but can't live in the past, y'all. Ain't nothing back there. Yes, they have memories back there, but I can't change them. I can't move that. So, um I will end with this. Death is not extinguishing the light. It is only putting out the lamp because the dawn has come. And I'm really going to tear up this name. Rabindranath Tagore. I will write these in the list because, you know, dying is a natural part of life. Nobody gonna get out of here alive. So at times it may seem as if you're on a roller coaster. You may not know what will come next. Just like getting on a roller coaster. If you're sitting in the back, you can't see. You just get whipped around. That's how I was feeling. But yeah, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be fine. And as I said, I manifested having these people come into my life because somebody knew that I was pretty much at my wits' end, um, physically. Physically. And of course, when the physical goes, then the emotional follows. But this is just a path that was, a detour in my life. But I must admit, I'm a better person for it. I truly am. Just my dealing with situations, prioritizing things, letting things go that don't really matter. I don't have spool. I don't have the bandwidth to deal with some stuff. You just gotta let it go and focus and be present. So, woo, we're at 50 minutes, y'all. I did not mean that to happen. I love you. Happy New Year. Spend quality time with the people who are around you. Let the BS go. It's not serving you. Laugh, look at movies. Yeah, we got this. Peace. Thank you all.